Today I'm channeling my inner Pink Pantheress with the little purse. If I say I'm gonna do something, I'm gonna do it, okay? But you wouldn't know unless you listen to the podcast. I just feel like a little bear holding only 2 things in my hands when I could be carrying 3, you know? Women are multitaskers. I have to give in to natural instinct. Is it giving like, oh, the boy's a layer? Thank you all so much for all the love on the Chronically Online Girl videos. It means so much to me. I wanted to try something a little bit new because even though I am obsessed with internet drama, and it genuinely keeps me up awake at night, every 4 a.m. I wake up in a cold sweat and I'm like, oh my God, why is Jeffree Star the way that Jeffree Star is? As much as I like to tell my mom internet lore because I have no one else to talk about it with except now you guys, I also love celebrities and celebrity lore. Because when I start to like a celebrity, there's like no in between. I can't just be like a little fan. Like I need to become their own little personal Wikipedia page, okay? Like the information I still have in my brain about Fousey Tube from when I was like 12, it's serious. I'm not shying away, okay? I'm a Billie fan, all right? Ask me which Billie Eilish perfume I'm wearing today, huh? However, even though I am a fan, I can still recognize when my faves do something problematic, you know? I recognize that people, even my favorite celebrities, can be problematic because they are not a god. They are human. And I know that this is gonna be really hard to process, but I'm not a god either. I am but a girl. Anyway, before we get started, let's say thank you to today's sponsor. I know that all of you are going to little cafes and little coffee shops and doing your little work on your little laptop and joining their little Wi-Fi. And I know that because we're all 24-year-old teenage baby girls here. If I'm doing it, you're doing it. Unfortunately, sometimes Wi-Fi networks, especially free public Wi-Fi, can be compromised by criminals to intercept your data. And while you're scrolling through the web, criminals can harvest any sensitive data that you enter. That's why I want to thank today's video partner, NordVPN. You can encrypt your data with NordVPN at all times, and you can keep little naughty criminals' fingers out of there. With NordVPN, you can become safer online with literally just a single click. My whole career is online, on the internet. NordVPN helps me feel safer about things. It's also more than a VPN. Threat protection shields you from malware, trackers, and ads. NordVPN is also privacy oriented, meaning that they don't track or share what you do online. And one account protects 6 devices, which is really cool. Get NordVPN's 2-year plan plus 4 months for free using my link. It's gonna be nordvpn.com/Rafiee. It's risk-free with Nord's 30-day money-back guarantee. And all you have to do is go to nordvpn.com/Rafiee. It's RAFIEE, and it will be in the description because I want you guys to be safe and practice safe internet practices. Thank you so much, NordVPN. Let's start from the very beginning, okay? When a man and a woman love each other very much. If you wanna go read a Wikipedia page about Billie Eilish, you can go do that. But today, I'm here to have a conversation. First and foremost, Billie Eilish and I are best friends because she liked my one TikTok where I was saying that young Julian Casablancas was really hot. I'm so happy that the both of us have that in common, Billie. There's this common belief that Billie Eilish is a nepo baby. Nepo baby, for short, nepotism baby, is a term referring to children of celebrities who have succeeded in careers similar to those of their parents. The implication is that because their parents already had connections to an industry, the child was able to use those connections to build a career in that industry. My mom cleans houses, and she never introduced me to Mr. Clean, and that's really fucked up because I really always want to bump uglies with that bald little man. What Billie Eilish is actually considered, industry baby, industry plant, nepotism baby, it's kind of up in the air, and I guess subject to be argued. This is Billie Eilish's mom, Maggie Baird. Maggie Baird is an American actress, screenwriter, and former theater teacher. She grew up in Colorado performing music and studied theater and dance at the University of Utah before moving to New York City, where she performed on Broadway. She also taught an improv class, which she had Melissa McCarthy as a student. So starting off the bat, Maggie Baird wasn't this huge, big actress, okay? More so a supporting role, but had definite access and connections to people within the entertainment industry. That's not really arguable. So nowadays, Maggie works on Support and Feed. Support and Feed provides plant-based meals prepared by local restaurants and businesses to people experiencing food insecurity in BIPOC and other communities with several goals: nourish those in need, provide education, support the small business community, and positively impact climate change. Where's Billie's at? Oh, Patrick. I chose that photo of him because he seemed like warm and welcoming in that photo. And if I have to print out photos of adult male men, I want them to be nice and inviting and warm, and that's why I haven't printed out a Shane Dawson photo yet for this series. So, Patrick is best known for his roles in works such as The West Wing, Iron Man, and Baskets. I have seen this man, with my own 2 eyes, sweep the stage. And I'm being literal, because when I saw Billie Eilish in concert back in, I believe, 2019, her dad Patrick was out there with a little broom and a little mop, making sure that the floor was clean before the show started. Phineas, Like I said, if I'm gonna print out a picture of a grown man, it has to be like slightly interesting or maybe a little embarrassing. Like, yeah, I'm gonna be selective. Finneas is an American singer-songwriter, record producer, and actor. He has produced all of Billie Eilish's songs and basically her co-writer, co-creator, co-everything. And Finneas had his own like little acting career. He was on Glee. They know people who know people. That's just simply a fact. So if you know people who know people and you live in Los Angeles and you want a career in entertainment, it definitely puts you a few steps above in how easy it is to achieve that. Not saying that they didn't work hard for it at all, because they 100% did. Okay, let's talk about Billie. This is a very old photo of Billie. This is when she did a Genius interview.
I already exist.
Billie Eilish, Pirate Baird O'Connell, was born in Los Angeles, California on December 18th, 2001. Happy birthday tomorrow to you, Billie. I felt like Nardwuar saying that. Doo-doo-doo-doo. Eilish is of Irish and Scottish descent. She was conceived via in vitro fertilization. Conspiracy theory, Billie Eilish was an in vitro planted embryo. It's really not fucking funny. And if you couldn't tell already, these bitches were homeschooled, okay? If you're watching this, you're probably like a Billie Eilish fan or a hater, or maybe you don't know anything at all, which I'm surprised by. Or maybe you just saw me in the thumbnail and you're like, that girl is so sexy. That girl's so hot and sexy. I need to go watch that video. Hi. 2016, Billie Eilish and Finneas' lives basically changed. Finneas had originally written this song called Ocean Eyes for his own band, and Billie was asked by her dance teacher if she could create a song so that they could dance to it. That's when Finneas approached Billie with the song Ocean Eyes and said, you should sing this instead. The song was put on SoundCloud, had the intentions of being danced to, and basically the song ended up making them go viral, made it a really popular song, helped them get their manager and their label. And then Billie Eilish said in an interview with Teen Vogue, Danny Ruckason, who is now my manager, reached out to my brother and was like, dude, this is going to get huge, and I think you're going to need help along the way. I want to help you guys. We were like, that's swag. Billie Eilish said that's swag. And then by August 2016, they signed to a record label. I personally listened to the song Ocean Eyes for years without even realizing that it was Billie Eilish. My friends just always put it on in the car and I was like, oh, pretty. So like the song of the summer. And it was summer 2016 that I would listen to that song a lot. That was like the summer of like peak delinquency for me. I also remember having the song I Don't Want to Be You Anymore be on my playlist, but I had to take it off because I could not stand to listen to that song at 5:45 in the morning when I was on the way to my Chipotle job, because it was absolutely so depressing. And it took everything in me to like not swerve off the freeway. Not because it was bad, but because I was like extremely sad that I was going to Chipotle to make fucking guac at 6 a.m. But anyway, we all know, slowly climbing their way to stardom, Billie Eilish started becoming more of a household name, started getting featured in the soundtrack for 13 Reasons Why, released an EP called Don't Smile at Me in August 2017. There are two things that happened to me at the Tech Center at Temple University that stick out to me like light bulb memories. I think they're called flash bulb memories, actually, where you just remember exactly where you were. 9/11, I was too young, okay? I remember I was at the Tech Center when Mac Miller died. Absolutely devastated. I was also at the Tech Center when I found out that Billie Eilish had Tourette's. And I wasn't devastated, but I realized I'm spending way too much fucking time here. I should go home. And my bangs are in my eyes. A lot of fans have started to make videos basically doing compilations of Billie Eilish having tics. This was a very big deal because Billie Eilish was already kind of known for being open, talking about mental health. This was going to be a very big deal for those who actually have Tourette syndrome and are going through similar things like Billie and are now huge fans of her. So basically, Billie was already a girl that young teens could relate to, especially if they were going through similar things like her, like depression, anxiety, Tourette's. This is also kind of what brought about a lot of people thinking that a lot of young teen girls are faking having Tourette's to be like Billie Eilish. I recommend you looking into Tourette syndrome your own, but Tourette's can increase when you have more anxiety. Everyone knows the last few years were extremely anxiety filled, and naturally we're going to see that rise. Similarly to how when people had accepted left-handedness, we saw skyrocketing of people who identified as being left-handed. I kind of think a similar thing had happened after Billie Eilish being open about Tourette syndrome. But anyway, that's like a whole different conversation. Then there's this man. If you watch Billie Eilish's documentary, The World's a Little Blurry, then you may recognize this guy, 7amp, Brandon Adams. He has like 7 different names. They started dating at the end of 2018. And I remember seeing this because I was on like a lot of Billie Eilish fan pages. It was like my entire Explore page at the time. And I was like, damn, this guy looks old. This guy looks really fucking old. Turns out he was really fucking old. Billie Eilish was only 16 years old while he was 22 years old. Like literally at her 17th birthday party. That man's like a full-grown man. Like, he's gonna lose insurance soon. Speaking of which, I lost insurance. Yeah, and you don't see me fucking talking to underage kids, okay? Because that's fucking weird. This is a concerning time where we started to see Billie Eilish around a lot of older men. Fans were concerned, but not nearly as much as they are now because Billie was smaller back then. Not as much nearly in the news. Also, this relationship was not really public until the documentary, which they broke up in it anyway. She was often seen around the Bells twins, who are also older than her, Jack Francis, also 6 years older than her, Brandon Adams, and all of his friends. But to say me, as someone who is older than Billie, was not concerned and thinking, oh my God, where are the people around you? It was worrying. It was very worrying to see her around a bunch of older men. Her parents had even faced some backlash after the documentary came out. Like, why did they not try and control this relationship and get her to stop seeing him? There are clips where she had just gotten her license and drove off to go see him. And her parents are like, is she with that guy? You know, a lot of people are saying it's hard to control a 16-year-old when she's like a fucking star. A lot of people are also like, well, she's not like a normal teenager because she's a celebrity. She's famous. She has a lot of money. She had to mature a lot faster. I have a whole video about age gap relationships. Do I think that a 16-year-old has any business being with a 22-year-old? No. Obviously, I don't know what went on behind the scenes, and you probably don't know what went on behind the scenes either. However, do I hope and wish that her family was involved in trying to get her not to be with a groomer? Absolutely. Are we going to see everything that's happening in a documentary? No. But Jesus Christ, that's like really scary. While we don't know Billie and while we don't know the inside of all of her relationships, I think that this is an important conversation to have because this does seem to be kind of a pattern in her life. And I think it is important to talk about it, especially with her audience being young girls and a lot of young girls going through this. When I was in middle school and high school, I cannot tell you how many of my friends would have boyfriends that were literally out of high school, literally had kids close to our age, fully grown men, like, oh, he can't come to prom because he's literally too old, type of old, full on abusing, grooming, old. It's an issue. And you can beg and plead all you want with your friend when you're like in fucking high school and you're like 15 and you're like, please stop dating this 30-year-old man. But it's like, oh, but they love me and you don't know our relationship. And unfortunately, it's something that a lot of young girls will have to eventually learn about when they're older and they realize that they were taken advantage of. It's a really sad situation. And although age gaps are very, very common in Hollywood for several reasons, the idea of dating an older man is kind of like romanticized in order to like climb this social ladder. Money, fame, whatever it may be. Like, oh, date an old rich guy. You'll be set for life. It's even normalized even out of Hollywood. Billie is an example of someone who has been groomed and in these huge age gap relationships involved with much older men that, to nicely put it, cannot really offer her anything that she doesn't already have, monetarily, I mean. Because Billie Eilish is more wealthy and more successful than the men that she has been with. What I'm trying to get at here is that Billie has not fallen victim to this idea of like, date old and marry rich. Date these older men and you'll get super famous. Date these old men and you'll get so much money. Billie was not a victim to this romanticization of date an older man and you'll make so much money and you'll be so rich and you'll become famous. Because she was the rich and famous one. At the end of the day, it's plain old grooming. Uh-oh, what's under here? I know some of you guys want to take the posters off my hands, but if any of you guys want this poster, you're sick. You're not getting it. Don't even fucking ask. Matthew fucking Tyler Vorse. Billie Eilish was 19 years old and dating him. Whoa, wait. Oh, sorry. Oh my God. The purse is staying on. Okay, wrong hair for the time period, but listen. She was 19 when she was dating Matthew, who was 29. Except this time people weren't really feeling sorry for her or empathy like they were after her documentary, The World's a Little Blurry. This time people were pissed because Billie Eilish had just wrote a song called Your Power. The song was essentially about minors being taken advantage of and being used. And she talks about her own experience and how she was taken advantage of. She insists that it was not the relationship with Brandon, but with someone else. But people were so incredibly upset seeing the two of them together because What the hell, Billie? Didn't you learn your lesson? That's what other people said. That's not what I'm saying. Matthew Taylor Vorse is an actor. That's pretty much it. People hated this relationship and people hated this man. This was during COVID. A lot of people had a lot of time on their hands, and people had found old posts of his on Facebook and online where he had said many homophobic and racist things. This man was not cut out for fame at all. Literally no PR team. How are you racist and homophobic in your past and you still have all your posts up? I don't understand. But this man was not cut out for fame at all. And of course, the blame got put onto Billie, because why didn't Billie know? This is not me trying to be a Billie Eilish defender. This is me trying to be realistic here. How often do we start dating people or talking to people or get to know someone and we know exactly what they posted on the internet in their past? The answer is most likely going to be, we probably don't know. In fact, I know a lot of you guys who still stick around with your homophobic boyfriends. I'm looking at you. They are not together anymore. However, Billie did face a lot of backlash over this, because Billie Eilish herself was seen as someone who was an advocate, and it hurt a lot of people and fans to see that she was with someone who had blatant disregard for that. And I truly, genuinely hope that Billie chooses to talk about this and address this at some point in the future when she feels ready to. Although she made the song Your Power, and that was very impactful for so many people with their experience with SA and getting taken advantage of, I think that she can have an incredible influence on young girls if she chooses to openly talk about this some more. She's a human being at the end of the day. By no means is she obligated to do that. It's her experience, it's her story. But I think someone of her size being able to talk about looking out the signs of being groomed, being taken advantage of by older men, because oftentimes it is a pattern. Oftentimes it does happen repeatedly to young girls. It's not like just a one-time thing. I think she could have a really great impact if she ever chooses to talk about that. Because even her Halloween costume, where she dressed up as a baby with Jesse Rutherford, and Jesse Rutherford had dressed up as an old man, it did feel like a slap in the face to a lot of fans, as if they were kind of laughing at what people were saying online because, well, Billie's an adult. She can do as she wants. However, the dynamic is still very strange, and a lot of people are happy that the relationship had ended. Jesse had just left a relationship with Devin Lee Carlson after 10 years of being together. And Billie Eilish was a fan of him since she was a teenager. And they even met when she was a teenager because she was a massive, massive fan of him. And then Billie ends up in this relationship with him. She does her interview with Vanity Fair, which then she asks for applause.
I managed to get my way to a point in my life, to a point where I not only was known by a person that I thought was the hottest fucking fucker alive, but pulled his ass. Are we kidding me? Can we just... round of applause for me. Thank you.
If anything, it just genuinely made me feel sad because he won with her. Like, she did not score or win with him. He won with her. And where was the praise for Billie in that relationship, you know, coming from his side? Instead, Billie got this song from Jesse. Let me perform it for you. I'm at the top, you're at the bottom. It's a different point of view. Calling out and one every time I point and shoot. On the clock, nonstop, I keep winning. I can't lose. Feeling like Alejandro when she gaga on my goo. She's been listening to me since 2013. I know she's got daddy issues. Welcome to the family. She said, Jesse, baby, won't you write a song about me? I said, I got a whole album. I could drop it next week. What doesn't kill you makes you stronger. Shorty, come with me. Watch your money get longer. Oh, God. And I will be a Jesse Rutherford hater. I will. Although I'm a massive Billie Eilish fan and I love and adore her, I bring this up because I don't want young girls who are watching this defending these types of things or these types of jokes or even glamorizing this kind of lifestyle of, you know, dating much, much older men who haven't met you when you were a teenager, simply because you are Billie stan. Because maybe while it may have not been harmful for Billie Eilish, it can be very harmful for you. And that's just important to note. And on a lighter note, fucking Claudia Sulewski. I've been a massive Claudia Sulewski fan forever. If you guys have been watching me since like the beginning of time, I have not shut up about Claudia Sulewski. Claudia Sulewski's a YouTuber. Not so much anymore, but she makes lotion now. I bought it, it's good. She's Polish. Anyway, when I saw her and Phineas post the photo for the first time that they're together and that they started dating, I was like, oh, fuck yeah, my faves, they're collabing. This is great. A few years ago, when Claudia and Phineas started dating, I had commented on a Claudia Sulewski video and I was like, oh my God, you and Billie look so similar. You guys look so alike. Oh my God. I didn't realize like what I was contributing to at the time. Two women with dark hair and light eyes don't necessarily mean that they look the same, okay? People ran with this and were like, Phineas is sexually attracted to his sister. Phineas is attracted to Billie. Phineas is so attracted and in love with Billie that he had to date someone that looks like Billie. Oh my god. People started saying that Finneas writes creepy lyrics for his sister to sing because of the song Bad Guy, basically calling him a creep. They also sang the song I Love You on stage. People were like very uncomfortable with that. All the time just making incest jokes. Like, does anyone get incest vibes from this all? And now it's 2023. No one says this at all, despite him still being with Claudia and Billie still having dark hair. I personally don't think people are used to seeing a loving and happy and healthy family dynamic. And I will clock incest. Has anyone seen my Colleen Hoover videos? I will be the first to call out incest, okay? I know that this is a crazy and wild thought, but Billie and Claudia don't look that similar. They just have similar features, and I don't think it's creepy by Finneas dating Claudia. I don't think Finneas wants to fucking bone his sister. Like, that's fucking weird. That's one thing I will say is that Finneas and Billie do attribute a lot of their success and happiness because of the way that they were brought up by their parents. They give a lot of praise to their parents for raising them the way that they had, being supportive and encouraging them to embrace themselves, homeschooling them, going into the arts, helping them and teaching them things that they were interested in, being themselves. And that is true. A healthy family dynamic can go such a long way for people. Finneas did try and help defend Billie when she was dating Jesse Rutherford. He made a snappy video response on TikTok and said, your sister's dating a
31-year-old man, and your music is shitty, so.
Finneas responded, I want my sister to be happy and safe, and she is a 21-year-old adult perfectly entitled to make her own life decisions. Ultimately, what more can he say? Should a 21-year-old have autonomy and have the right to make their own decisions? Absolutely. Is it concerning for people who are just observing, seeing her date much older men since she was literally 16 and maybe even earlier? Men who are 100% grooming her and at least 22? Of course. And I think that's why fans are concerned. I think it's out of love and out of worry and not out of trying to dictate what an adult woman can now do. That being said, it is perfectly legal for her to be dating Jesse Rutherford, and it was totally legal for her to be dating Matthew Tyler Vorse. I myself had a friend who dated someone 20 years older than her. Was it extremely scary and worrying, but there was only so much that you could do because it was a legal relationship? Yes. I would say it's a very hard and fine line dynamic to work with. And I think this idea of massive age gap relationships are definitely starting to be talked about a little bit more now, so I'm interested to see where the conversation goes with that. And that's like so gossipy of me, and something I've just always wanted to talk about is the connection that Devin Lee Carlson has to all of this. Claudia Sulewski dates Finneas, okay? Finneas is related to Billie, right? Okay. Claudia Sulewski is very good friends with Devin Lee Carlson for years now. Prior to them dating, Claudia Sulewski had just done like a phone case collab with Devin Lee Carlson's brand, Wildflower Cases. Devin Lee Carlson dated Jesse Rutherford for like 10 years. So when I saw that Billie was dating Jesse Rutherford, I was like, wait, what's the dynamic like now with Claudia and Devin? And then sometimes Claudia and Devin would be seen at the same place sometimes, and Finneas would be there. I'm like, wait, what's the relationship like there? Is there any animosity? And then sometimes Billie would be in the same place, and I'm like, oh my God, is there like, what the fuck is going on? Anyway, turns out, this past Halloween, Devin Lee Carlson and Billie Eilish were seen together, and all was right in the world. Literally, it felt like angels singing. It was like, oh my God, two girls who are exes of the same person together, and they look beautiful, and they're like holding hands and smiling and giggling. I love this. All is well, like in the world. Like, war is over, okay? They should date. I'm kidding. Okay, let's talk about something a little lighter now. Let's talk about Billie Eilish's hair, okay? I recently watched this video by Milko Coco where she talks about the Hollywood hair theory and how you can essentially tell when someone is going to be a star soon. When stars have very recognizable hair, we tend to immediately associate that hair with that person and remember that person a bit more easily. So think of Billie Eilish, especially with her green roots. Lana Del Rey, Melanie Martinez, Ice Spice, Marilyn Monroe, Millie Bobby Brown, Ariana Grande, Justin Bieber, Princess Diana. This is something that a lot of fans cling on to when trying to separate the different eras of Billie. When you think of her album, When We All Fall Asleep, Where Do We Go? We think of her blue hair, her silver hair, her purple hair. Many people think of that as like the OG Billie. Many people associate the green roots being at her peak in her career. Blonde hair being associated as her happier than ever era, her feminine era, her very pretty era, her not being herself era. I don't think that's just what a lot of people thought. People miss the old Billie. We want Billie with the green roots back. We don't like Blonde Billie. People think of Blonde Billie when they think of the Cosmopolitan shoot that she did, when for the first time she was wearing revealing clothing. This was a very big change for a lot of the fans because we had never gotten this kind of Blonde Billie. And then, also dating Matthew Tyler Vorse. He's on the ground. I'm not picking him back up. Her Red Roots, which is the most recent and current era, just seen as her being back to being herself again. A new album approaching. Mask Billie. Gay Billie! We'll get into that in a second. Point being, people wanted the Red Roots forever. They got the Red Roots. Now people think that she's wearing a wig. I don't fucking know. And I wanted to bring this up because it's so interesting that artists are able to do that. They're able to separate their certain eras with their hair. Very cool. However, for women, it's kind of expected. There needs to be a change in colors for different eras. There needs to be change in style for different eras. Keep in mind, this is just one singular person, but they need to suddenly change their whole aesthetic and the way that they look in order to match this certain era for the fans. Think of any huge star that is a woman, where we kind of see that with and kind of expect that with. Billie, Doja Cat, Ariana Grande. A lot of people were upset when Olivia Rodrigo kept her second album purple. People were like, what the fuck? Like, change it to a different color. Give us something different. The album looks too similar. Different hair, something. However, Prince went his whole entire career with purple being his color, and he was respected for that and known for that. But a woman is expected to consistently change and upgrade and be next level, like as if she's like a product. And if anything, male artists are encouraged to say the same, and it's okay if they're seen as like lazy, you know, because it's just boys being boys. Yes, like Drake, Justin Bieber, The Weeknd, Post Malone, they've all changed their hair, but on their terms and not for the sake of a new album coming. But like, I fucking love Dua Lipa. I love her, and her new hair looks incredible. However, I think that if she didn't change her look, I think people would have been upset and like, hello, where's the contrast from the last album to this one? I want something completely different. It's still Dua Lipa. That is why I included this photo of Billie Eilish, where she was like 15 there, super young, being silly like she always was. It's like when her account was called Where Are the Avocados? A lot of people miss this like old Billie, this old sense of humor, this old era, this old version of herself, pre-mainstream fame. I think what a lot of people aren't really willing to accept is that she's never gonna be that girl again, because Billie is gonna be 22 tomorrow. Billie is not a 15-year-old. Billie has had a lot of life experiences, like is a massive mainstream celebrity, and we cannot ask women to jump back to certain eras and be these certain versions of them for whatever is more palatable for us. I think it's hard for people to accept and see female artists changing and evolving and becoming young women into their own selves. On a less lighter note, let's talk about queerbaiting. In June 2021, Billie Eilish posted a photo that says, "I love women," from her music video, Lost Cause. Queerbaiting. Queerbaiting! Billie said that she was straight as a ruler when she was 13 years old.
I'm straight as a ruler. A ruler straight? Rulers are, yeah, I'm very, 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 very straight.
This has been so massively frustrating for the last few years. Coming from someone, me, who prefers to be unlabeled and has said that for many years now. In middle school, when I had the biggest crush on a girl ever, I was the one sitting there like, oh, but I'm straight. And then in high school, when I liked girls, I was like, oh, but I'm straight. It goes without saying that sexuality can take a while to figure out for yourself. Some people know when they're 10, some people know when they're 20, some people don't know until they're 80 years old. So recently, Billie posted a photo of her kissing, making out with Odessa. Love it. For the last few years, Billie has been labeled as a queerbaiter, someone who is only dating men, but yet dresses really masculine and sometimes wears like a rainbow belt, and you know, suddenly she's queerbaiting again. And she recently did a Variety interview where she talked about being attracted to women, but being scared of them and not thinking that they liked her, and how she's coming to terms with that. Just for her to go on the red carpet and then be asked by an interviewer, did you mean to come out? While I don't necessarily think that this person had like negative intentions, Billie did post on her Instagram that Variety had outed her at like 11 a.m. From me talking with my friends about this topic and my personal opinion, if it's unclear if someone came out or not, and if you have to ask that, I don't really know if it's the best question to ask then. If you're at an event, a Variety Hitmakers event for your music, and you're being asked about something very personal and something that you weren't really open about on your own. You just spoke about it in an interview and that's randomly like brought up. And the interview is gonna go live regardless to millions of people, regardless of what you say. I completely understand being bothered and feeling like that's not really on your own terms. But people are concerned that she's queer baiting and they deserve to know the truth. Someone's sexuality is not something that we are entitled to. We do not deserve an answer, okay? From anyone. Billie, me, you, anyone. If someone feels comfortable being in a music video with a bunch of girls and then making the caption, "I love women," then that is what they gave you. That's what Billie delivered to you, okay? If she posts a picture of her kissing a girl, then that is what she is comfortable giving you. If someone says in an interview, "I like women," then that's what she just gave you. But then to stand there and pry some more and ask at a time that it's kind of very on the spot and not really the right time or place, and ask if they had just come out, like clarifying that, and screaming like, "Define it!" I feel like that's so out of touch. No one in real life outside of the internet actually functions like that. None of the people in my real life ask me to be like, "Define who you are right now." Because the information that I give is the information I want to give, and that's that on that. Like, that's it. I think sometimes this conversation on sexuality has become kind of like odd because it goes so far one way, it ends up like coming back around. Like, how did we go from like, "I respect your sexuality and who you are and I respect your privacy," to now being like, "You have to disclose it. You have to define it right now because we need to know if you're queer baiting or not." Which, by the way, you can't even queer bait as a person, but that's a whole different conversation. Go watch Not Even Emily's video, but that is not real life. I've stopped saying this a lot recently, but please go touch grass. Like, that is the internet rotting your fucking brains immensely. Ultimately, Billie Eilish is one of my favorite artists, if you can tell. Grammy Award winning, Guinness World Record breaking. She has an incredible future ahead of her. When she took 5 out of 6 Grammys home, 'twas not easy for her, okay? Facing severe backlash for wins that she very much so earned. Everyone wants to see young women win until a young women fucking win. I'm so happy that it seems like she has very good people surrounding her and a very good family that is there for her and supportive, because not everyone has that. And, you know, as we know from very huge stars, especially child stars, not having supportive family behind you and your career could ultimately, like, end not only your career, but your life. Her being a climate activist, showing her support for veganism, support and feed, mental health awareness and advocacy, talking about her coming to terms with her queerness, and talking about abuse of minors is something that makes her a star. Oh. I hope for so much healing for her. I hope that on her own terms and on her own time, she's able to talk about some of the things that she has went through, if she's so willing to talk about it. Anyway, I'm glad that you and I talked, okay? And we may have differing opinions on things, okay? Maybe. Whatever. Like, maybe you didn't like that I added this photo. It was supposed to be your childhood bedroom. But then the photo printed out way too big and the frame was way too small, so now it's just like a blurry little mess. We may have differing opinions on things, but be nice and remember, I am but a girl. And maybe you too are but a girl. Make sure that you like this video if you liked it, because it helps me out so much. Also, leave a comment if there's anything that I missed or any conversations that you want to add to from this video. Make sure to subscribe if you're nasty. If not, you're disgusting. Also, make sure you have your bell notifications on so you know every single time I post, or else you are gross. Make sure to check out the podcast. We upload every other Monday on YouTube and wherever you get your podcasts. Follow me on my other social media, Instagram, Twitter, Depop, Spotify. It's just at Nicole Rafiee. And if you want to follow me on my TikTok, it's at Nikki Nasty. But I cannot end this video without involving Trisha Paytas somehow. I'm so sorry. Oh my God. I'm so sorry. Oh my God. In my defense, she's dressed up like Ice Spice, and Ice Spice and Billie Eilish have been flirting in each other's comments on Instagram. So she fits, okay? I had to include her. It's literally the law. Thank you so much. Goodbye.
But we can't do it sometime.